chapter 29. Sorry, chapter 23. Chapter 23, Sunday, the 21st day of Shvat. In today's lessons, the Torah in general, and particularly halacha, Jewish law, is an expression of God's will and wisdom. And one who learns Torah becomes completely merged and united with the blessed Ein Sof light of God. The Alter Rebbe has thus far discussed two levels of union with the divine will. One analogies to the chariot and its rider, like the chariot is nullified to the rider, and the second to the unity of body and soul. The unity of body and soul is a higher unity than chariot and rider. Both these levels of unity are achieved by performing the mitzvahs. He now goes on to describe a third and higher level of unity, higher than body and soul, that is achieved through the study of the Torah. So the two levels of unity, rider and chariot, and body and soul, achieved through the mitzvot, the fulfillment of the mitzvot. Now, the level of unity is even greater than both, is achieved through the learning, the study of Torah. But the thought and meditation on the words of Torah, which is accomplished in the brain, and the power of speech engaged in the words of Torah, which is in the mouth, these being the innermost garments of the divine soul, and thus closer to the soul itself than the faculty of action, the external garment. It's an inner garment. And surely the divine soul itself, which is clothed in them, in the thought and speech engaged in Torah study. All of them are fused in perfect unity with the divine will, and are not merely a vehicle, a chariot for it, as are the mouth and brain in which the thought and speech of Torah study take place. The term perfect unity, when we use the term perfect unity, indicates that the two become one and the same. Unlike, for example, the unity of body and soul, which retain their separate identities. Body is body and soul is soul, although one is enclosed in the other, but it's two separate entities. Body stays the body and the soul stays the soul. Even when they are joined together and form one unit, they're still two separate entities. Heart and the liver and the kidneys are separate entities. They are within one body, but they're separate entities, separate organs. The Alter Rebbe now goes on to explain how Torah study is able to affect this level of unity. Why specifically Torah study leads you to the highest and the greatest unity with God? For the divine will is identical with the halachic subject of which one thinks and speaks, inasmuch as all the laws of the halacha are particular expressions of the innermost divine will itself. For God willed that a particular thing be deemed permissible or kosher, or that this person be found exempt and another innocent, or the reverse. Since every halacha expresses the divine will, the unity which the study of the halacha affects between the soul and the divine will surpasses even the unity of body and soul. Because now you're tapping into the will of God. If you learn the halacha, you become familiar, you familiarize yourself with the will of God. And the will of God is even greater than chokhmah, greater than wisdom. וכן כל צירופי הסתר הנביאים כסובים אינם שוח הזוצנו וחומוסי מיוחד is בין סוף ברוך הוא בתכלס הייחוד שהוא הידע ועמד וכולו. Similarly, all the letter combinations of the Pentateuch, prophets, and the writings are also expressions of God's will and wisdom, which are united with the blessed Ein Sof in a perfect unity, since he is the knower, the knowledge, and the subject known. Thus, when one studies the Torah, prophets, and the writings, he becomes united with the divine will and wisdom, which are absolutely one with God himself. It's not two separate entities. You say Hashem and his wisdom, Hashem and his will. The will of God and the wisdom of God are united, are one with him, are not two separate things. And when you're learning Torah, you're becoming one with Hashem. This is what is meant by the statement that the Torah and God are absolutely one. They are not merely organs of the king, as are the mitzvahs. For as explained above, the unity of the mitzvahs with God is like that of body and soul, where two separate entities are joined, whereas Torah is entirely one with God. God willing, we'll learn and continue tomorrow.